Hi, beautiful. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. We're reading in the text, Chapter 8, The Journey Back, Section 4, The Gift of Freedom. And we'll start in paragraph 5. Healing reflects our joint will. This is obvious when you consider what healing is for. Healing is the way in which the separation is overcome. Separation is overcome by union. It cannot be overcome by separating. The decision to unite must be unequivocal, or the mind itself is divided and not whole. Your mind is the means by which you determine your own condition, because mind is the mechanism of decision. It is the power by which you separate or join and experience pain or joy accordingly. Let's pause here and consider that statement, that separation equates to pain and joining equates to joy. My decision cannot overcome yours because yours is as powerful as mine. I'll pause here and say that's a really powerful statement. This is a channel text of the words of Christ. And if your word is as powerful as his, then it is powerful indeed. If it were not so, the sons of God would be unequal. All things are possible through our joint decision, but mine alone cannot help you. Your will is as free as mine, and God himself would not go against it. I cannot will what God does not will. I can offer my strength to make yours invincible, but I cannot oppose your decisions without competing with it and thereby violating God's will for you. Nothing God created can oppose your decision, as nothing God created can oppose his will. God gave your will its power, which I can only acknowledge in honor of his. I'll pause here and say this explains a lot, because people will ask, well, why does God allow this when we look at the atrocities around us? Well, because God is not going to override our will. And it's not God who's causing war and starving children. It's delusion, it's ego, it's the nightmare. It's poor decisions. God gave your will its power, which I can only acknowledge in honor of his. If you want to be like me, I will help you, knowing that we are alike. If you want to be different, I will wait until you change your mind. I'll pause here and say, because different or separate leads to pain. And love doesn't wish for you to be in pain. But we, as unique individuals, as separate individuals, can wish for pain. And we often do. Because we'd rather be right than happy. I can teach you, but only you can choose to listen to my teaching. How else can it be if God's kingdom is freedom? Freedom cannot be learned by tyranny of any kind, and the perfect equality of all God's sons cannot be recognized through the dominion of one mind over another. God's sons are equal in will, all being the will of their Father. This is the only lesson I came to teach. Isn't that beautiful? If your will were not mine, it would not be our Father's. This would mean you have imprisoned yours and have not let it be free. Of yourself you can do nothing. Because of yourself you are nothing. I am nothing without the Father, and you are nothing without me, because by denying the Father, you deny yourself. I will always remember you, and in my remembrance of you lies your remembrance of yourself. In our remembrance of each other lies our remembrance of God, and in this remembrance lies your freedom, because your freedom is in him. Join then with me in praise of him, of whom and you, whom he created. This is our gift of gratitude to him, which he will share with all his creations, to whom he gives equally whatever is acceptable to him. Because it is acceptable to him, it is the gift of freedom, which is his will for all his sons. By offering freedom, you will be free. I'll pause here and say, that's a really powerful concept, that by us offering freedom to others, not trying to fix, force, change, or control, we become free. And I'm just going to share that I have found that to be true in my own life. The less I try to fix, force, or change others, the less I'm in the prison of the mind. And the more I'm able to enjoy my life and experience it. Freedom is the only gift you can offer to God's sons, being an acknowledgement of what they are and what He is. Freedom is creation because it is love. Whom you seek to imprison, you do not love. Therefore, when you seek to imprison anyone, including yourself, you do not love him and you cannot identify with him. When you imprison yourself, you are losing sight of your true identification with me and with the Father. Your identification is with the Father and with the Son. It cannot be with one and not the other. If you are part of one, you must be part of the other because they are one. The Holy Trinity is holy because it is one. If you exclude yourself from this union, you are perceiving the Holy Trinity as separated. You must be included in it because it is everything. Unless you take your place in it and fulfill your function as part of it, the Holy Trinity is as bereft as you are. I'll pause and say it's the really interesting idea that God can't even be whole and complete without you because you are a part of God. My part of it can be imprisoned if its truth is to be known. No part of it can be imprisoned if its truth is to be known. No part of it, including you, beloved. And the way to set yourself free is by offering freedom to others. We're not here to fix, force, change, or correct other people. We're here to love them and honor their sovereignty and your own sovereignty. And even though the ego will tell us the way out is by condemning and fixing and forcing and changing, that actually only leads to more strife and discord. And we know that's true. In psychology, it's called counter will. If someone tries to force you to do something, it's natural for you to resist that because your sovereignty is sacred, and so is the sovereignty of others. And I'm not talking about at the level of man-made laws. Sure, if someone's breaking a law, they'll go to jail. There's cause and effect. And the Holy Spirit can help us to make choices aligned with love. And sometimes that might look like tough love. It might look like that, but where is it coming from? Because true love is gentle, and it is kind. And it recognizes sovereignty, and it sets free. Love sets free. It does not imprison. And we're talking about the level of the soul. And the paradox is the more we set others free and set ourselves free, the less resistance there is to love, and the more love reigns supreme. And I can't force that on anyone else. That would be in opposition to God. That would be in opposition to love. But I can apply it in my own life and be an example of that. And as I do that, I find freedom. And I'm free. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I'll see you soon.